I think there's a really beautiful place in your spirituality that you get to that is letting yourself exist. At least in my experience, when I first had that spiritual awakening, that just awareness that clicked into place, there's so many different avenues and ways that you can explore your spirituality, and you start to pick apart because you're seeing so much, your eyes have opened and you're realizing so much, and you kind of start to pick apart your life and your habits, and at some point that becomes imbalanced. At some point you have to let yourself just be a human. And I think there's a lot of work that happens between the awakening and the living in the awakening, coexisting with your humanity and not picking it apart. As Ram Dass would say, if you were meant to be enlightened in this lifetime, you already would be. We're not enlightened beings. We can grow and evolve and learn more and open ourselves more to our spirituality, but we're in this body, in this time, having this human experience because that's what we're meant to be doing. And if we're trying to escape the human experience and be this enlightened, perfect being, we're failing all day, every day, because we can't be what we aren't. When we are what we fully are, when we can dance with that, embrace that, live with that, love that, find grace and softness in that, then life feels like you have room to breathe. You'll notice little things that you want to fix, things that you could change, things you could do better. You'll notice and you'll keep evolving, but I think you just let go of the force within the evolving when you just realize it's not worth the energy to force anything. It's not worth it because the unfolding of life, there was a little bug in my glasses. The unfolding of your life is so divine and so beautiful and so perfect that there's nothing you can do to force it to be any better. And I think there's just this sense of letting go. There's this feeling of space. You've had the same 24 hours in a day all the time, but you just have so much more space within that time that you're given, because not all of your time is spent in your mind. I think the mind is important, and the time that we spend there, especially in our awakened state, is important because we start to really see a lot. But then you get to the point where the mind is more of a tool. The mind just becomes the doing of the heart's message, but being present with your heart, listening to your heart, that is where you're living. That is the day to day. That is where you are. And you step into the mind, but you live in the heart. The heart is the guiding force. The mind just serves that guiding force. And that doesn't mean that I'm here and I'm perfect and I'm always in my heart and doing every day right and there's so much peace in every day. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just speaking from experience. When I get to this place, even when I get in my mind, and instead of spending a whole day or a whole week there before realizing this isn't it, I can spend maybe a couple hours, maybe a couple minutes there. And then the awareness that I need to return to this moment and need to return to my heart happens a lot faster. But we can't rush this process. And just because this is how my journey has gone and where my journey has taken me doesn't mean that's how it's going to look for you. I'm just explaining, just feeling out my experience, really, and feeling really grateful. I feel like sometimes gratitude isn't even a big enough word to explain how you feel when your heart is so open that you can't even tell where your heart ends and where the world is beginning, where your heart ends and this source of love begins. It's no beginning and end. It just feels like this constant energy exchange, and it's so beautiful, and it feels like the biggest honor to get to experience life in that way, where connection and vibrancy and depth just live. They just coexist. Things come and you're like, oh my gosh, I can see that with love. I can see that with intention. And then it goes and you're like, oh, wasn't that nice? It's just a coming and going. There's nothing to be done. There's nothing to change. It's just here. And I just get to be a silly little human sitting in this random wood teepee I found in the woods, just existing. What an honor. Why are we trying to do so much more than just being human? What's wrong with being human? It's like we've started to make that a bad thing, like being human isn't good enough. But anything beyond that is just fake, because you are human. You can't escape that. You can't escape your humanity. And the real power comes when you can face your humanity, because being human is not perfect. Being human is messy, and it comes with pain and sadness, but it also comes with joy and love, and it's all a part of the experience. And I think when we take the labels out, which is taking the mind out, when we take the mind out, we remove the labels, and we just are with our experience, the experience is happening. And it's not good, it's not bad. You just see it with gratitude because you know that it's all necessary. It's all so important. The pain, the pleasure, the joy, the sadness, we have to have them. It's the yin and the yang. For them to coexist is what makes being a human so beautiful. So even when something hurts, I'm like, what an honor it is to be able to feel so deeply and have something that, have an experience that is worth having and getting to feel this because I loved it or cared about it so much. What an honor it is to be a little human. We've done it before, we'll do it again, but you'll never be you again. And it's just not worth missing out on your own uniqueness. Your preferences, they aren't who you are, but they're fun to play with. And when you get to this place where it is a play, it's a dance, and you have these little playful moments, it's like, oh my gosh, I caught myself doing this again, an old habit. That's so cute. What a fun little play. And now I'm going to play this role, and now I'm going to play this role. But you never lose that center. You can step out into the roles, and then you're back. And everything you're doing is from your center. Everything that you're doing is from this place of love, gratitude, acceptance, appreciation. It's an expansive way of being. Everything feels like a gift. Even today, just sitting here, being able to have a couple minutes to sit on the forest floor. Who knows what this forest has seen? Who knows what this ground has experienced? But to be with it, it feels like such a sacred time. And it's like, how crazy is it that touching earth is woo-woo? Touching earth is crazy. Having your shoes off, sitting outside with nothing but nature is considered hippie. We have a label for what it means to just be with nature, to just be with this beautiful, beautiful force that we could not live without. We could live without our phones. We could live without technology. We could live without Wi-Fi. We have done it all before, but we couldn't live without the earth. And being present with her is seen as something crazy. What a wild time we're living in. And what a gift it is to be here. Oh, it feels good. It feels good to be here. It feels good to experience this little life. It's beautiful. Go touch grass. Have a good day. Love you.